Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'd like to just first of all announce that the Silent Hill 2 remake is finally finished. I was unable to record the last episode properly. It was a 2.5 hour episode that, it actually kind of just encountered a bunch of bugs with OBS. About the whole audio recording and things like that. It kind of bugged out, and the audio was just this awful static all over. I don't know why, but I finished the game and I could just replay it and get to that part or use one of my save files to redo all of that. But then all the reactions and all the things that I would talk about normally would be fake, and I decided to not do that. I decided to just share my thoughts and opinions about the game and the fact that what am I gonna do later on with the channel, and how am I gonna continue making videos and making gaming videos and things like that. Silent Hill 2 is a great game. Its story, its characters, its setting, everything is just fantastic, and there's no denying that. It's very, very heavy and traumatizing setting to make a video game on, and it really delves deep into characters' psyche and the darker side of the human being. And it is analyzed to death at this point by other YouTubers and things like that. I don't need to talk to you about those things. I'm just a casual player. I'm just a normal consumer. And as a normal consumer, I can definitely say that it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game and it's a beautiful experience. I like Silent Hill 2. And the remake is as faithful as it can get. It's not the one-to-one remake the same way they did Metal Gear Solid 3, but it's also not exactly the worst remake to play. It's probably actually a pretty decent way to experience Silent Hill 2, but I think that if you just fixed the camera maybe and probably made the exploration more seamless. Every time in the original game when you open the door, the screen would go black and then go back on again, and that was very jarring. It was very janky. It was very disruptive to your experience, and it wasn't actually good. But if you fix those, I think that Silent Hill 2, the original, could still live up to this day and be a very great way to experience the game. The main issue with the remake, aside from the I guess you could say the main issue after the port to PC, which was absolutely horrendous, and Unreal Engine 5 being the worst engine that they could have made the game. Bloober Team is actually very well known for making Layers of Fear on Unity, and it runs really well there, but they decided to just play it on Unreal Engine 5, and it absolutely sucks. I had to update drivers plenty of times, I had to update the game plenty of times, nothing changed, and the game basically was running on potato mode all the time, and even on potato mode it didn't reach the 60 FPS that we all love and we all like to play. And the problem isn't with the hardware, because I play with around 50 to 60 frame rates on medium with Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's an open world game made by Rockstar, and it's actually very more realistic and good looking than Silent Hill 2 Remake. So it's not really an excuse to say that the hardware is bad. The main issue, aside from performance, is the fact that apparently what I feel like happened is that the marketing team or the publishers or the people who are, owners of the IP and decide what the price should be, probably said something along the lines of, we can't sell the game at full price if it's under 20 hours long. So you have a very condensed experience, which is Silent Hill 2's original game, and then you have it stretched out to 20 hours. And the only way that they stretched it out is with rehashed puzzles, rehashed areas, and lots and lots and lots of combat phases. And it's horrendous. It's the worst way to do it. They could have maybe made more cutscenes, they could have they could have made more puzzles, they could have made more walkthroughs, they could have made these places like near the end of the game when you're walking, and the story is like the dialogues and everything, whatever Mary said to James and all this stuff, you hear that in the hallway. They could have done that. Like, they could have made more segments, exactly like Layers of Fear, where you play the game and the story unfolds as you play. It's not like a hands-off experience, like, not playing with your controller the same way you do while a cutscene is playing and things like that, but it's, a better way to play the game. I think that the best thing that they could have done is to dial down the number of monsters. At the end of the game, you see a number of monsters that you killed, and it's over 300. It's like 400, 500 monsters, and there's like 3 different enemy types. There's the nurse, there's the straitjackets, I think, and there's the, what was the other one? It was the thing, the thingamabob, the ones that hang from the ceiling, and you don't really fight them, although you can, but they just dry up your ammunition. So you got plenty of enemies, and you don't have a proper resource management system. There's not really a management system in the game. It's not like you have different crafting materials. It's not like you need to choose whether to, have more medicine or have more, ammo. It's nothing like Resident Evil, and the game is not at all understanding what it means to give you ammunition but not give you enough so that you just go guns blazing all the time. It's a bad system, basically. They didn't do it well. They tried to make Resident Evil, but they half-assed it. They didn't understand what it means to have an inventory management. They didn't understand what it means to put different ammo boxes in different locations to, make players explore more and things like that. And besides that, even if they did give that, that's not why a Silent Hill player would like to explore areas. They like to explore for lore, and that's not there in the explorable areas. You make your way to a location and you grab items, and those items are like on normal difficulty, at least, like you go there and you get 1 shotgun shell, and that's like 1 enemy, and then you miss a shot because the aiming isn't exactly the best thing in the world, And yeah, it's not really an enjoyable experience. The combat is also not really that great. I played on normal difficulty for the most part, but I refuse to continue that way because I just don't want to interact with the combat at all. So I put it on light difficulty, and it was still just a buzzkill. A lot of times I just wish there was no monsters at all. I wish that it would be just sounds. Oh, by the way, I just realized there was another enemy type, the mannequins. They were very bad. Like, I'll get to why. There was so many instances where I felt like I would just rather walk, because the atmosphere was, built for walking. It wasn't built for combat. It was for, taking in what the hell just happened, but then it's ruined by you having to fight some enemies, and that's bad. That's bad for a Silent Hill game. That's not a good thing to have in your game, especially if it's about a series that is supposed to be a slow burn, and they ruined it. They ruined a bunch of scenes like that. They ruined a bunch of atmospheres like that. Puzzles were interesting, at least, and they were okay, but the bad part about it is that they again tried to do something that Resident Evil does. In Resident Evil you have items that this item you pick it up and then you put it there. The whole shadow thing, like there's a light and then you rotate the thing. They didn't try to do that specifically, but the whole idea of picking up items and then putting them in the sort of correct order, in the correct place and things like that. They tried to do that, but again, they didn't realize that in Resident Evil, the map is designed in a way that you don't backtrack, you loop around. So if you go to room A that has an item that you need to use in room B, it's not that you get out of that hallway, walk all the way back to room B. That's not what's gonna happen. You basically have a shortcut to room B. So that way things don't get, stale. But in here they didn't do that, so you have a hallway that is empty, no music playing, nothing. Again, Silent Hill was very well known for its music, but a lot of times in this game the music is just very low, or if it's there it just sounds very, very bad. So it's not the music that I remember at least playing in the original. And then I checked it, and no, it wasn't that music. It was a very stale ambient sound. Nothing really scary happening on your way back. They could have easily used something like the Nightmare World or things like that to make the hallways different. They did exactly that on Layers of Fear, but they forgot to do it here, and it sucks. And at worst, you go to a hallway and you get your item, and then you try to get back here to get to do what you need to do, but then the enemies that you have killed once come back to life, and that's inconsistent. I get that why they're doing it. It's because you wanna understand that you're in danger and make you paranoid. So you're always hitting dead enemies, and that's what I did, because I think like, oh, it's gonna get back up, But it gets so repetitive at 20 hours, and what you're gonna get before you even enter that scenario, and it's just plain boring. At the end of the game, there was an area where you needed to, leave your items so you didn't have anything, and that was scary. But at the same time, the enemies were so docile, and the loop that you were stuck in, like what you had to do was just so generic that it really didn't mean much, just meant that I have to run. There's no stealth mechanics. They could have added that, and that could have been very nice to have. Sneaking around because you don't want to kill enemies, but they didn't do it because, as I said, there's no such thing as resource management. It's just not there, or when it's there, it's just not cool. It's too much and it goes away. It doesn't feel rewarding at all. It doesn't do much, you know. And after a while, when you're killing the same nurse, the same type of nurse 20 times in a row, it just stops being scary. It's not like every enemy has a different combo that you need to learn or get down. No, it's the same every time. You just press B as much as you want. There's no stamina system, there's no nothing like that. It's not like games stumbles around or things like that, or he doesn't time it correctly. You get very generous aisle frames and things like that, and it doesn't feel brutal, it doesn't feel scary, it doesn't feel like you're on the edge or something like that. It just gets boring after a while. So you got a good experience and then you pad it to be 20 hours long, and it just ruins the mood. There are a lot of places in the game that are absolutely scary. The prison was very scary. I still have nightmares about that. I love when it's Silent Hill, and that basically means that I love when it's the original, and I hate it when it's Bloober Team ruining the original. So yeah, and I sincerely believe that they knew that they are ruining it, but they had to do it because they couldn't sell the game, because it wasn't long enough to sell the game. So they padded it out, and it sucks that they had to do that. And the future of franchise, I don't think it's gonna be pretty. I wish that Townfall is actually a good game. Silent Hill F is a piece of garbage that I will never ever touch. I don't want to touch that game. The combat is horrendous. The game is not scary. The story is just awful. It's the worst story that they could have possibly made. Woke propaganda bullshit. I want nothing to do with that, and I will refuse to ever talk about that game, play that game, or anything of that sort. I just want that shit to be out of my system and out of my channel, because I've grown up with horror games and I've grown up with Silent Hill, and I love that series. I love the first game, I love the second game, I love 3 and 4, even though I've never beaten 3 and 4 because of how scared I was. But F is just fucked. That's what the F stands for. It's not scary, it's boring, feminist bullshit, and I want nothing to do with that. I'd rather play Silent Hill 3. I'd rather play some game like, I don't know, Indica, which I will play. That's the next game that I'll play on this channel. I'd love to play a game like Amnesia Rebirth, which is once again a game that represents femininity and that thing. So I love to play those. I'd love to play Devotion, Detention. Those two games are great, and they're a great representative of that. A close friend of mine is now playing Cat Lady, and she's like, Cat Lady is a great representation of the trauma that some women face in their day-to-day lives, and that's a great representation of that. I strongly try to do that justice and those heavy subjects justice and show them properly, rather than attacking motherhood, attacking femininity, and attacking females. I don't like that. And Silent Hill F is doing that. It's advocating for all the bullshit that the media wants women to be, and all the bullshit that revolves around misandrism, anti-natalism, and things like that. It's just a piece of shit that I will never touch. So I hope that Silent Hill will continue on being a proper game and will be in good hands. If not, we'll just stick with indie games that somehow understand making a proper horror game better than these guys. Like, take a look at Amnesia, take a look at Outlast, take a look at all the other indie games, basically all the other indie games that are condensed proper experience. Even Indica that I will play, it's a very bizarre drug trip game, but it's good. Hellblade, all these different games that I could play, and I will, and I just kind of lose hope for I lost hope after I saw what they made Silent Hill F to be, and it's awful. It's just awful. And I won't touch Silent Hill until they fix these things. I hope that they fix it in the Silent Hill 1 remake. Do I doubt that? It's made by Bloober again, and they're again making it in Unreal Engine 5, which is a shame. Silent Hill 2 remake looks good. It doesn't look bad, but it's something that you could have pull off in Unity if you wanted something to look absolutely gorgeous and like be like I don't know. I want to make it in Unreal Engine. Just make it in Unreal Engine 4. There's no need to use something that you don't understand. Okay, like. Unreal Engine 4 could have given us Silent Hill 2 with 100 frame rates on modern hardware. They could have easily done that, but they refused to do it, and they went with the new cool, which is Unreal Engine 5, and every single game that comes out on Unreal Engine 5 is unstable because it's just the developers, I think, or the teams that are working on it don't understand how that engine works yet, but they are utilizing it, and it's stupid. Just look at Decima, just look at Death Stranding 2. It runs on Decima engine, on a modded Decima engine, I believe, and it doesn't even have ray tracing, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's like the next generation game that we've been waiting for ever since PS5 came out. How much it looks good, but they just refuse to make it on UE4 or Unity just because they wanted to sell it as a new game and as something that it's like a new cool or some shit like that. And it's all, I think, the management at Konami's fault, and all the publisher, marketing team, and all those bullshit. I don't think that the guy who's coding in UE5 ever felt like he needs to do it. He knew deep down, if he was the same guy who worked on projects like Layers of Fear, that he could have easily made Silent Hill 2 in Unity, and they could have made that game. They could have redone the entire Silent Hill 2's campaign in Unity, and it would have looked okay, it would have run better, and they could have just thrown a middle finger to the publishing team. And if they did that, like if they made the game in Unity, and if they just screwed all of those paddings out, made it a condensed experience, like a 10-hour experience or so, it would have been the perfect game. It would have won Game of the Year, honestly, because it's there. The story is great, the characters are great, the setting's great, the combat sucks, but I mean, hasn't it ever? Like, it has always sucked. But when you force it and when you put that on in the center of the center of attention, because you know they don't know how else to pad out the game, it stops being scary and it stops being fun. So yeah, that's it. That's my opinions about Silent Hill 2 after beating it. And I'm very thankful for all of you to stick around with me. It took nearly a year to finish it because you know how my schedule is just screwed up all the time. College is very hard, but it is what it is. I can't promise anything better than that. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.